Well, as we reported last night, the Gillard government has taken Australia a step closer to being the first country in the world to have plain packaging for cigarettes. Today, the tobacco industry hit back with two of the three big tobacco companies threatening legal action against the move. But a leading trademark lawyer says their chances of success in the courts are close to nil, as Steve Kinane reports.
These are the cigarette packets that have the tobacco industry scared. No brands, no logos and big warnings, all on an olive green backdrop.
Gone are the days where people can pretend that cigarettes are glamorous. Gone are the days where gold embossing can imply luxury, or pale green can imply that they are light or safe.
The opposition says it wants more evidence that plain packaging will work before they support it.
We want to support sensible measures, but all we're asking the government, and I don't think it's unreasonable to do, is to produce the evidence that shows that this is a better measure than, for argument's sake, increasing the excise rate or other measures which might be there that are evidence-based to reduce the smoking rates.
None of the three big tobacco companies would be interviewed by Lateline. But earlier today, the biggest of the three threatened legal action against the government.
The government is trying to take away our intellectual property rights. If we were a big cola company or a brewing company and the government tried to do that, obviously they'd take this to court, and that's the avenue that we'll be looking to take. If the government's tied up using millions of dollars to fight this and then potentially spending billions of dollars of compensation of taxpayers' money, that's going to be very, very costly.
And a spokesman from Imperial Tobacco has told Lateline they too are prepared to take legal action.
We would much prefer to engage with the federal government, but we will take whatever measures open to us to protect our valuable intellectual property, and if that means going to court, we will go to court.
But Mark Davison, one of Australia's most prominent trademark lawyers and a member of the Department of Health's advisory group on plain packaging, thinks the risk is low.
Their prospects of actually winning any legal action are extremely small and indeed almost close to nil.
One legal argument the tobacco industry might try and argue is that plain packaging is unconstitutional, that the Commonwealth is illegally acquiring their trademarks.
The problem with that argument is that there is no acquisition of property going on. The Australian government does not want the trademarks of the tobacco industry. It simply wishes to regulate the use of those trademarks by the tobacco industry.
The second argument the tobacco companies might mount, that the legislation is in breach of international trade agreements.
The arguments relating to trademarks are based on the Paris Convention on Industrial Property and the TRIPS Agreement, which is part of the World Trade Organisation agreement. Both those arguments really, in the end, depend upon a claim that a trademark owner has a right to use their trademarks. Now, the fact of the matter is that neither of those treaties gives such a right.
When asked about the tobacco industry's chances in the courts, Scott McIntyre had this to say.
Obviously this morning they've just got the 90-odd pages and they're reviewing that at the moment. But once they've reviewed that, they'll obviously come up with their arguments.
While the tobacco industry says there's no proof plain packaging will reduce smoking, they're fighting it as if it's a threat to their market. Steve Kinane, Lateline.